This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is a pernicious force in America. She is feckless and powerless in Congress in her job. She doesn't really do her job because she doesn't sit on committees. All she gets to do is vote. I mean, she has just barely more power in Congress than you have. However, her rhetoric does have power. It does have influence in certain circles, a circle of individual in this country in which the circle is growing. Their influence is growing with the support of people like Donald Trump, with the support of people like Tucker Carlson, with the support of people like Paul Gosar and Matt Gaetz and Mo Brooks, Andy Biggs, Kevin McCarthy, Steve Scalise, Elise Stefanik. These radicals, these mainstream Republicans who are radicals in rhetoric. She is among them. And the other day, I think yesterday, she came out and in the wake of the Buffalo domestic terrorism incident where 10, 11 people were murdered, were gunned down in a grocery store, the vast majority of them black, I think all of them were black who were killed, at the hands of a white nationalist, a white supremacist, an avowed racist. She is now complaining that this domestic terrorism bill that was being forwarded in the House, that it's targeting white supremacists. Watch this remarkable clip from one of the most dangerous people in Congress, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Not on the bill for this domestic terrorism new bill that came out for the Department of Justice. And Jerry Nadler was on the House floor and he was talking about white supremacy and he was bringing up the terrible shooting that happened in New York, but totally ignoring the shooting that happened in California that I think involved an Asian man that was the shooter, totally ignoring the guy that drove his car, black man that drove his car through a Christmas parade, killing people and was a racist himself, completely ignoring the black man that did the New York subway shooting. You know, these people are all guilty of these crimes, and it's not about race. It shouldn't be about race, but they're clearly racist as well. So white supremacy shouldn't be the main target. We should be more concerned about the illegal invasion at the border, the crime happening every single day on our streets, and especially in cities like Chicago. We should go after criminals that break the law and not pursue people based on their skin color and how they vote. But that's what the Democrats want to do.
Interesting that we shouldn't be focusing on people and their skin color, although all of the other instances that she just referenced were people of color. The other thing is the quote, white supremacy shouldn't be the main target. Even though since 9/11, more people have been the victim of violence in this country from a domestic terrorist standpoint of white supremacy than foreign terrorism. Islamism, for instance. Let's take a look at some of these quotes. These people are all guilty of these crimes, and it's not about race. It shouldn't be about race, but they're clearly racist. I think she means Democrats. It shouldn't be about race, except when it is about race. When the Pittsburgh synagogue was targeted, that was about race and identity. When the Poway synagogue in California was targeted, that was about race and identity. When the Walmart in El Paso was targeted, that was about race and about identity. All of the many white supremacist motivated killings in the United States of America that is on the rise are about it. And for her to whine and complain and snivel fecklessly about Jerry Nadler and what he said, I'm going to read the quote. I'm going to read the quote of what exactly Jerry Nadler said. While she's whining that we're targeting white supremacy, this is what he said on the floor of the House last week. Quote, I want to use my time to point out what these three cases have in common. The gunman in each case was a white man, each angry about so-called replacement theory, each traveling some distance to target a minority community, each hoping to terrorize that community through mass murder. Jerry Nadler said that. That's what has her up in arms. That he is drawing the clear lines and grouping these together they have in common the Great Replacement Theory. The Republican talking point that the Democrats are trying to replace the voter base with people from foreign countries who will likely vote Democrat. And it is fueling violence. It is fueling hatred. From a woman who speaks at white nationalist conferences with Holocaust deniers and vile racists like Nick Fuentes. A woman who just the other day tweeted, "What wonderful news it is that a Virginia school board is set to rename schools after Confederate traitors to our country. Men who sought service to their nation, the Confederate States of America, in service to maintain slavery, to maintain the ownership of human beings, the systematic torture and abuse and oppression and rape and murder because of the color of someone's skin." And she is wonderful news. Wonderful news. We should always preserve our history as though a school is a museum or a history book. And these schools their names were changed after the killing of George Floyd, they're going to change them back to the names of traitors. No feeling or concern for what the black school children who attend these schools will think or feel, what their emotions will be about attending the school of some named after someone who fought and gave of their was willing to give of their life so that particular student would have been owned as property. Marjorie Taylor Greene, everybody. Mainstream Republicanism. This is what we're dealing with. This is why I continue to talk about it. And when I have dum-dums on Twitter telling me, quit saying racist, quit saying white nationalist, all you're going to do is make them more radical. No, calling them what they are isn't going to make them more of what they are. They're already that. And I'm not going to call it something else. Anyway, what do you think? I'd love to know. I would love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily at Dollemore.com. Follow me on social media. I am at Dollemore. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. That is always a good time. Well, sometimes it's a good time. And if I bring you value, there are several ways you can support the show. One, I just had some shirts made in support of the Poor People's Campaign March here in Washington in June. Fight poverty, not the poor. And poverty is a public policy choice. Both of those designs you can buy. That helps support the channel. But also you can actually give on a monthly basis, support the channel by becoming a channel member, clicking the join button below. For as little as $1.99 a month, you can support what I do here. Or go over to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. I love you guys. I appreciate you very much. I'll see you next time. I'm so happy to be back. I'm so happy to be healthy. And I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.